Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. Well, it is Wednesday, it's my bad joke day. This Jewish couple goes to the rabbi and said, Rabbi, we want a divorce. And the rabbi says, What? You've been married 65 years. Why are you getting a divorce now? He said, Well, we both decided that we would wait until the children were dead. Oh, dark humor. But I guess a lot of couples stay together for the sake of the kids, as they say. All right. So, for my friends who are involved in understanding what I'm sharing about clutter, when you have too much clutter, psychologically, it makes you think like you don't need to keep your promises because your life is so emotionally disorganized, as represented by all the stuff that you have around you. So, clean it up a little bit. Probably be very, very helpful in other aspects of your life. All right. I'm working on the Swedish death model myself, trying to get rid of all the stuff now and not just dump it on the kids. All right. For my friends who are still working on their journaling, um, what are the good, true, and beautiful qualities from your family that are carried forward in you? And even though sometimes we have a lot of things we can look back in our past, and if you want to say blame or recognize that was a difficult thing you had to go through, but we also get not only the worst, but the best qualities of our parents as well. So, what are the good, true, and beautiful qualities from your family that are carried forward in you? I'd like to hear about that. I'll be glad to tell you my own, but that's not for this discussion. So, first thing, always honoring my teacher, BKS Iyengar. Santosha is one of the ethics, which means contentment. And so part of it is learning to do your best and be contented with that. And especially when it comes to contentment within the yoga practice, it's as bad to forge ahead at a dissatisfaction and some kind of insatiable thirst for progress as it is to remain in mediocrity and be satisfied with minimal progress. Find the balance between those two. And even the tapas means kind of burning zeal. Learn to be content. Give it the best you're capable of giving, because that's one of my old hippie dictums. Nothing satisfies that inner hunger as much as putting out the one with all your juice in it. So find that. Now, James Hillman, one of my favorite archetypal psychologists, reminds us to grow into your eccentricity. Don't try to normalize yourself, conform, and not allow a certain kind of spontaneity of your own inner wildness, which is not savage, it's just loose and spontaneous, to come out. The Swiss, who are usually thought of as a very, very straight, square society, they even have a little motto that says, everyone has a corner knocked off. Nobody's completely that square. So recognize that. Also, Eric Erickson, I've been talking about his stages of psychosocial development from childhood to the end of one's life. And we're up to that stage between 40, 45, and 60, 65. This is where you ask the question, can I make my life count? You're toward the end of your career, maybe your kids, if you have kids, are grown. So generativity versus stagnation is the task, the developmental task for the ego at this point. And part of generativity is the concern that we have for the next generation. How to maintain a contact to improve the future generation's ability to be prolific in their productivity, in their creativity. And so if we're going to guide the future generations, we have to express our love in other ways besides sexual contact. Maintain healthy life patterns as role models for them to see. Learn to relinquish the central role that we have in the lives of our children. Learn to be proud of our accomplishments. Learn to reverse the roles sometimes with your parents. You have to take care of them, whereas before, when you were younger, they took care of you. And then mature into your own civic, social, and political responsibilities, whatever they are, however you see them to be. as you continue to adjust to the changes in your mind and your body through your middle years as you get in towards the end of life issues. And then, most important, can you use your leisure time creatively to make the most of the time that you have and reduce all possibilities to probabilities in whatever your bucket list might be? All right, Ram Dass also reminds us to pay attention to stuff that comes up, right? Because if you don't see it in the light of awareness, it strengthens its hold on you through your attachment and identification with it. And so we suggest that you work on yourself, which is called meditation, sitting in silence, reflecting what's going on, watching the thoughts and the narrative that you identify with, and learning to let go because it's all moving. It's just another thought. Don't give that much credence to it. And realize that karma isn't involved in your life. As Emerson would say, give prudent reflection to every claimant in your life because you're going to pay every just demand on your time, your talent, your heart. And remember, if you put out stuff that isn't good, like in the Greek tradition, Nemesis keeps watch and lets no negative offense go unchastised. So put out good stuff. The best way to put out good stuff for me is to remind you that every act rewards itself. You do good, you'll feel good. And then bring yourself finally to the affirmations. What are you telling yourself to keep stoking the mental processes that serve you? Well, first, from my point of view, I understand this phrase in the presence of spirit is the fullness of life. And since spirit is the only power that there is, everything that we can become aware of is another aspect of spirit's self-expression. So what I've learned is deal with negativity immediately, destroy it in its infancy. Don't give in to the negative thought. Don't dignify it. Don't believe it. Don't give it time to grow in your own mind. And don't argue with it. That just strengthens it. Just let it go. Chop the head off that thought and instead focus on things like this. It can continue to get better. There's no topping out. There's no reaching a place where there's no more for you. Always remember, whatever you give your attention to is going to become in your life. So reach for the best. Still there?